Welcome, everyone. My name is Adriene Pessel. Today's topic is escalation clause. With the spring market upon us, I thought it would be a good idea to cover and go through the pros and cons. Whether you're using it in Virginia, Maryland, or DC, the concept is the same. Maryland and DC have an extra step after the final price is calculated. The buyer needs to acknowledge it. An escalation clause. This is a clause that's added to the offer to purchase, which states to the seller that the purchaser will raise their initial offer in certain intervals, which is also called the escalating factor, up to a maximum purchase price, which is the cap. But these escalating factors have to do with the other competing offers. So if there's an offer on the table that is more than my initial offer, so I will escalate my offer by this factor. Remember, this is only to be used when you're in a multiple offer situation. So why do we use one? Normally, this is used during a seller's market when purchasers are frustrated because they've lost several houses and they just want to do whatever it takes to secure the house that they want. Let's look at this scenario. We have a sales price of $495. 3 offers came on the table. Buyer 1 came in with an offer of $495, no concessions, with a $1,500 escalating factor and a maximum cap of $505,000. Buyer number 2 came in with a $500,000 sales price with $5,000 in seller concessions, so it nets the seller $495,000, full price. Similar to number 1. Buyer number 3 comes in with a $504,000 sales price. They have several contingencies. In an escalation clause, contingencies don't play a role, only the sales price and the net. Remember, price is only one component to an offer. Let's add one more topic to this negotiations. Our buyer number 1 is putting 10% down. Our buyer number 2 is also putting 10% down, but our buyer 3, who's giving the most money, has a 3.5% FHA loan. So what do we need to worry about? If we're the listing agent, we need to be concerned about buyer number 3 because is it going to appraise for 504? They have all these inspections. What's going to come back with the FHA appraisal? Will there be some repairs that need to be done? Or is buyer number 1 the actually best offer to go with? But unfortunately, buyer number 1 just showed all their cards to the seller. So they're going to be spending $505 for a house that maybe if they would have came in just with their best and final and would explain themselves and had done a very good job in negotiation, would have gotten the better price. We need to look at the needs and goals of both the buyer and the seller. This is called interest-based negotiations. What does the buyer need? What does the buyer want? What does the seller want? What does the seller need? And that's where we start our negotiations. Because the bottom line is that we can have somebody coming in with a full priced offer or even more at 505 or 510 for that matter. But who's going to make it to settlement? It doesn't matter how much the buyer is going to willing to offer. If they can't show up to settlement because of an appraisal issue, financing issues, or they just get buyer's remorse because they get frustrated and they realize they overpaid for a house, that's going to be a problem. So we need to help our clients stay focused on the target. The buyers need to be comfortable with how much money they're willing to offer and confidently go after a home at that price. Buyers shouldn't be tempted to escalate their purchase price above what they're comfortable in paying. But also at the same time, they should realize that the inventory and interest rates are low and aggressively pursuing a good home at a good price is necessary in winning in a competitive market. So with that being said, one of the things I think an agent's responsibility is to do is make sure you discuss with both your clients, the seller and the buyer, the adverse consequences of certain offers. There's always going to be something that you need to look out for, and this is your job. We have an acknowledgement form that I really would encourage you all to have signed, especially if somebody is waiving an appraisal, financing, or they're doing an escalation clause. Interest-based negotiations is my favorite way to negotiate. You'll see here to the left, I have a list of questions that I would ask a listing agent because knowing what the seller needs is key to making this offer work. Because maybe the seller needs a rent back. Maybe the seller had a deal that happened before that they got burned on and they don't want to have to revisit that. So why start my offer and I'm approaching it from that perspective? To the right, you'll see a summary form of multiple offers. And what I do, if I work for the buyer, then I'm going to send this in filled out with my side. I'm going to do it as a cover sheet. This serves for 2 purposes. One, it makes sure when I send it over to the listing agent that the agent has the ability now to compare apples to apples. and they can see how my offer is so much better and stronger than the other. Also, from a listing perspective, if I use this, it's easier for me to sift through all the other terms and I can get to the bottom line, what's best for my seller. And instead of flipping through 30 pages of paperwork, I can just show the seller the bottom line. This helps me summarize each offer to the seller, and it will help my seller be less stressed because they can see it right in black and white, which offers that they're going to net more money, have least headaches, and who is the one that's most likely to go to settlement. Being the buyer that sends us over, I tell you, it already gives you a leg up because the listing agent is going, wow, this agent really knows what they're doing, and being prepared. Negotiations is a whole nother video, but we can get into that a little bit later. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions or any comments, please leave them below. If you need copies of this form, please go on our dashboard, go to training, then under fire, and then it's under the contract section. Have a great day and good luck to you.